Do you ever feel like maybe you're a little behind your friends financially? Maybe you haven't saved as much money as they have, or you're not earning as much money as some of your friends, or maybe you have a lofty goal that you'd like to be able to retire by the time you're 45 or 50, and you're doing the math and you're saying, you know what, Asul, I'm just not there. If any of this resonates with you, then today's video is for you, because I'm going to talk about some ways, the easy ways and hard ways to catch up. So let's first talk about the easy way to catch up, and that is, I want you to be kind to yourself. I want you to really look and say, am I really behind, or does it just feel like I'm behind? Because in today's world of social media, it can be super easy to feel like you're behind because of, what we see, the cars we see people driving, the vacations that they're going on, and feel like we're behind. Maybe, your friend bought a new boat and they're posting on it on Facebook or Instagram. It doesn't mean that they're ahead of you financially. In fact, they very well may be behind you financially, because there's people that use capacity for debt. There's people that use their money and their capacity to get a loan, frankly, and they bring forward where they're consuming before they can actually afford it. And I think that's 90% of it. But let's say you're looking and you're saying, okay, so that's all well and good. I hear what you're saying, but I still want to make more money. I still want to save more money. I want to get to my goals sooner. All right, let's talk about it. So there's two ways to solve a lack of a savings if you're not saving as much money as you would like. There's the income side, and then there's the spending side. And for most of us, frankly, it's easier, it's quicker to focus on the spending side. So let's start there, and then we'll come back to the income side. So on the spending side, I'm not a big fan of budgeting, but at least for a while, I want you to get clarity on where you're spending your money and whether that's bringing you joy or not. And I want you to look at how you're spending money really from two high level categories. Is this a need or is this a want? So let's start off super simple. Needs versus wants. And needs are things like, I have to pay my mortgage. I have to pay my utility bill. If you have a car payment, you have to make your car payments, and you have to put fuel in that car in order to be able to go to work, and you have to put food on the table. Doesn't mean you have to go out to eat. That's going to be a want. So I want you to add up all of your needs and all of your wants. And high level, where we're trying to get you to is where your needs are 50% or less of your take-home pay. Think back to the early days of the pandemic. That's probably, at least for a couple weeks, most of us were just focused on our needs. We were hunkered down in our homes. We were scared, and we weren't spending money on anything that wasn't necessary. So those are our needs. And then wants, as I said earlier, going out on vacation, going out to eat, things like that. So try to keep your needs below 50% of your take-home pay, and try to keep your wants, and most of the things that are coming in the Amazon cardboard boxes every day, most of those things are wants. Try to keep your wants at 30% or less of your take-home pay. And if you can do that, 50% on needs, 30% on wants, what does that leave you with? That leaves you with 20% of your after-tax take-home pay that you can start saving. And if you can do that, that very quickly is going to result in some nice gains in your net worth, with some nice gains in your savings. It's kind of like losing weight. It's not enough to eat well one day and then not eat well the rest of the week, right? But I call it, you have to stack these days together. I have to eat well 5, 6, 7 days in a row to see any progress, and then maybe I have a cheat day. It's the same thing. You have to have this 50, 30, 20 lifestyle, not just for a month or for 100 days, but for a year, for 2 years. Ideally, it becomes your new lifestyle. Okay, so we talked about savings, and we talked about two sides of it. One's the income side, one's the spending. We just talked about the spending. What about on the income level? And what do I, as a financial advisor, know about the income side? Well, most of my clients are already millionaires, full disclosure, but I do help them as they think through helping their kids become financially independent. And particularly with younger folks, there's, a lot of people are working minimum wage jobs. And so is there a way very quickly in under 100 days and under 6 months that you can increase your skill set and make more than minimum wage? Let me give you a classic example. I'll use my own daughter as an example. She's a nursing student in college, but she does work on the side as well. She was working a minimum wage job. Now the question is, was there anything she could do to put herself in a situation where, she wasn't asking her boss for 25 cents more an hour, but she was in a job that was paying 2 or 3 times minimum wage. And for her, it turned out that she could do a program that just took a couple weeks and become a certified nursing assistant. So that took her a couple weeks to do. I think it cost $500. And she went from making minimum wage to making 3 times the minimum wage. Well, now instead of working 20 hours a week in order to get the money that she wanted to earn, now she only had to work 1 day a week, less than 8 hours a week. That gave her the gift of time that she could then put into her studies as a nursing student. So are there programs like that for you that don't require a 4-year degree, that don't require a PhD in machine learning or artificial intelligence? What are the courses that you could take that over 3 months and for less than $10,000, for a couple $1,000, for a couple $100, the marketable skills that you have to help you make additional money? Once you're making more money, that gives you 2 things. That gives you the gift of time, and it also gives you additional money to reinvest into yourself and to take that next training program. So like in my daughter's case, she's going into nursing school, but let's say she wasn't doing that. Another skill she might want to pick up is learning how to sell, learning how to persuade people, whether that's online, whether that's doing copywriting or whatever it is. But learning that skill, which is highly valuable, because you think of all the small business owners in the United States, and very few small businesses have more clients, more customers than they can take on. So if you can help small businesses either bring in more potential clients or close the clients that they have, that would be a natural. So that's the next step, right? So you keep going up this value curve. You go from making minimum wage to 2 or 3 times minimum wage. And then you look at a place, is there a place you could specialize where you don't need to spend 4 years of your life going to college? Now, I'm a big fan of college. I think we learn a lot in college, but it's not the right path for everybody. So is there a trade school? Is there a trade that you can learn that would help take you up the skill set? And then as you're making more money, again, we're talking about the income side of saving the money. As you go up that skill level, very quickly, I want you to think about, is there a mentor? Somebody that's a couple years ahead of you that you could connect with. Either they're doing out of the goodness of their heart or they're doing it professionally, but that can show you the path to help you succeed sooner. For instance, this YouTube channel, I'm coming up on a year. In the middle of March, it'll be a year on this YouTube channel. But I found somebody that had built their own YouTube channel successfully, and it wasn't inexpensive. I thought it was fairly affordable. It was a couple $1,000. But I found somebody that had done YouTube in the past and was successful. So again, looking at your savings, there's the income side and there's the spending side. And then it's not enough to just save. We also have to invest. And investing your money, really the goal there, I'm not trying to, it's not a get rich quick, it's a get rich slowly strategy. We want to beat inflation so we can have our money over time working harder for us than we are for it. So that if you're feeling behind, those are the 3 main steps that I want you to think about, is looking at your savings, and that's income and spending, and then investing it and investing it wisely. And I also want you to remember what the goal is, and hopefully for many people in this channel, it's to be able to enjoy your retirement. And this is 5 reasons, the 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in that one. Bye-bye.